Are you having a little trouble reading your tape measure? I imagine so. If you clicked on this video, you're probably a little frustrated right now. But I can help you read a tape measure, I promise. So just sit back, calm down, and watch through this. And if you don't understand it, I'll give you your money back. Well, if you don't understand it, you can watch it over and over for free. Seriously, drop me some questions in the comments and I'll try to clear up anything that you're still confused about after you watch the video. Okay? Let's get started. Well, let's just have a look at this tape measure. You see in between the 1 and the 2 all these little lines that are different lengths. And different rulers or tape measures have different numbers of lines. Like this one, there's a lot more lines in between the 0 and the 1. These just help make it easier for you to tell what the increments are. All the lines are evenly spaced. So let's get a bigger version and see if we can work this out. So let's take a look at what it would look like if I blew up the section between the 1 inch and the 2 inch on a tape measure, and instead of having so many hash marks, I only divided this into 4 equal fourths. Each section would be 1/4. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4. Now notice at the 2/4, if you reduce that fraction down, what is that fraction reduced? It's the half. That's why on tape measures, the fractions look different. It's because they've already reduced them down for you. Next, let's look at that same segment. And this time, instead of just cutting it into 4 pieces, I cut it into 8 pieces. Now the total length is still the same. There's more pieces and the pieces are smaller. So each little piece is 1/8. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and this would be 8/8 of the inch. Notice at certain points, like with the 2/8, if you reduce that down, that's 1/4. If you reduce 4/8 down, that's the same as a half. 6/8 is 3/4. So usually on a ruler, they don't write that. That's why you'll see it go from 1/8 and skip to a 1/4 and then back up to 3/8 and then it skips over to 1/2. Like I said before, the fraction parts are still the same. They just went ahead and reduced them down. Because if you measure something, you don't tell somebody that it's 3 4/8. You tell them it's 3.5 inches. Now let's look at the same section of the ruler, only it's the same length. It's the same length from end to end, but this time I cut it into 16 equal pieces. So there's more pieces and the pieces are smaller, and you still would count. Each piece is going to go up 1. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all the way down, 16ths. Now your tape measure is going to stop at certain points where this fraction can be reduced, and it's going to go ahead and reduce it for you. So your tape measure is not going to say 2/16, it's just going to say 1/8, but that really is the same thing as 2/16. And you see by the time you get to 8/16 down here, you're actually at the 1/2 mark. Some rulers are even divided down even more. This one is divided into 30-seconds. So your half here would be 16 30-seconds. Now how do you know which one it is? Well, after you practice for a while, you can easily tell the difference between a ruler that's broken into 30 seconds and one that's broken into 16ths or even 8ths. If you're not that practiced yet, you can just count how many hash marks are there between the 1 and the 2. If you count them, you'll count 16. If you count all of these hash marks, every single one of them, no matter how long they are, you'll get 32. That lets you know these are divided up into 1/32. Now this does take some practice. And let's look at this color-coded. In this one, this segment here from 0 to 1 is broken up into 16 segments. So if they were all the same length, you can see that's a little bit harder to tell what the measurement is. But when you vary the length of each increment, like the 1/4 marks all go down to the same length. The 1/8 marks all go down to the same length. The 1/16 marks are all the same length. That's how you can kind of get an eyeball on it. And color coded, this first one would be 1/16. If whatever I was measuring went all the way over to here, that would be 2/16, which is 1/8. If I went all the way over to here, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4/16, which reduces down to 1/4. And so on across the bar. All right, let's practice with a few. Okay, so let's get it lined up at the 0. Now notice on this ruler I have this gap here. You don't stick the end of your ruler here. You go to where the first hash mark is. Okay, so what am I going to do here? Well, it's more than an inch, but it's less than 2. So that gets me a good idea. And looking from 1 to 2, I know that this is my halfway mark. And then I'm looking at my quarter marks. This is a quarter, this is a quarter, this is a quarter. So this comes out to 1 3/4. Okay, let's try another one. Once again, line the left end up with this first hash mark. Now you can see that the end of your line over here, here's 2 inches, so it's going to be 2 and something. All right, I have to figure out what kind of a hash this is. Well, I can tell that this is divided up into 16ths. So if I wanted to count, that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, which is 1/4. But if I look at the lengths of the lines, I can see 1, 2, 3. This cuts it into 4 segments. So that's going to be 1/4 right there. All right, let's try another one. This one down here lines up to this mark right here. So here's 2 1/2. And it's going to go over, this is going to be the 8th mark. I can tell by the length. If you have to count, since this is 16ths, it's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 16ths, which divides out to be 5/8. If you just want to count your 8ths, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And one more. Let's line this one up. And let's see how far we go. This one is going to be right here. So it's 3 and. I can tell that this is one of the 4th marks, the quarter marks. Here's 1, 2, 3. So this would be at 3 3/4. So did that help you out? If not, if you have questions, drop them in the comments down there and I will try to clear this up, even if I have to make another video for you, because I am committed to helping you learn how to read that tape measure. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you back here next time.